Hey, my name is Cedric Gegel, and welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hey, Uncle Kenny! Football! Hey, yeah!
If you're new here, I am an actor and filmmaker, and I'm reacting to music videos and talking through interpretations of them, how I might think that they were made, and usually being corrected in the comments and educated in the comments by people that know a lot about these things, and that is ceaselessly entertaining and informative, and I'm really loving this journey so far. So thank you to everyone who takes the time to explain things that I miss, and that really does help a lot, and I really do appreciate it. I really do read it, and it's just really great. So thank you. Thank you also for 5,000 subscribers. What? Whoa! That's really neat. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we're here. Together. Also, to those of you who donated to Window with a View, thank you so much for that. There's still an Indiegogo link in the description of this video. The campaign is still running. It really does mean a lot. I got a call from the director, from some of the producers, saying how amazing it was to see donations start coming in from different countries around the world. That's so cool. So thank you so much. That really is incredible. Thank you for that. Thank you to those of you who responded to the poll in the last video. As of right now, it looks like I'm going to be diving into behind the scenes videos after this. I did lie though. I'm going to do one more before I do that, which is going to be Spring Day. Plus, I think the explanation video is what everyone was wanting me to do. I forgot. That was getting recommended a lot. I really am trying to keep on top of the recommendations. I'm seeing them when you guys ask for them, and I appreciate you asking for them. But again, I'm just going to have to beg your patience because I can only do so much. And I also don't want to see all of the videos yet because I am, in case you missed this announcement, going to do the full dive into the universe. I'm fully in. I've gone too far down the rabbit hole. We're doing it. We're doing the universe. We're doing it. It's very exciting. I'm thrilled. Are you thrilled? I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled. So in this one, I'm going to be watching the Save Me music video, and then I was also told that I should do the behind the scenes. As I understand it, this is a one-take music video, which, yes, all about it. I loved 1917. Thought that movie was amazing. I have directed a short film that was all one take. They are really hard to do. I'm really thrilled for this. I need to watch the behind the scenes. When I'm watching the behind the scenes videos, don't expect a lot of pausing. I might talk a little bit over it, but I'm probably just going to kind of watch that. There may be a couple of moments when I'm pausing, but I'm probably just going to be rolling kind of through those, watching their process. I hope that's okay. The theme song for Smallville was Save Me, the Superman TV show on the CW, and I always loved that. So let's see if this becomes my new favorite song about saving me. Big hit. Entertainment. I like that, the clock ticking. I like that sound. What's that beat? That's Jimin, right? It sounds very positive, but the lyrics are a lot deeper. Nice. It's calling you at its own will. You're shining so bright. Yeah, they're doing a great job flowing from member to member. Ooh, nice. Nice. Oh. Wow, okay. So first, what a juxtaposition of the music and the lyrics. Talking about Save Me, how was Jimin at the start said, I hate this night, I want to breathe, something to that effect. But it sounds so positive, it's so upbeat. It's this da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Total guess so far, but it seems like maybe it has to do with mental health. How often do we have this persona of, I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm cheerful, everything's okay, and yet the inner monologue that we have is so different than what we're presenting. Even the dance is upbeat and they're happy, but their faces aren't. Look at the coloring too. So they've chosen a lot of blues and grays in this. They're wearing black and white, which is going well with the sky. So it feels very melancholy. I don't know where they're shooting. If I was going to guess, I'd say Sweden. I don't know. It has sort of a Game of Thrones look. But they're doing that really, really well. Something else that they're doing, since this is, one take, I assume they're doing this in post. A couple of times they're punching in on certain moves. So in the edit, they're zooming in just a little bit to jolt the camera to a side on a certain move. They've done that in other videos. They certainly did that in Fake Love. It works really, really well to add just a pop of energy, a little burst of energy to it. And it juxtaposes so well with what we're seeing. I don't know if they're singing about a romantic interest or about army or about music in general or what. Maybe there's some sort of spiritual aspect. They're asking to be saved. They said I think the line was, in the darkest night, you are the brightest light, or something like that. So it seems like it's addressing someone. Maybe it's the self. They've done a lot with the idea of self. So I don't know. I love just the idea of how upbeat it is versus the lyrics being where they are. Just real quick, I know I just restarted this. The lyrics are, this lunatic night swallows me. They talked about night, lunatic night. My father was a Latin teacher in high school, so I have sort of a weird familiarity with some Latin roots. Luna, moon, right? Often you'll hear that associated with kind of insanity. So this idea, again, of mental health, going back to that. Moon, night, light. The moon is a light in the sky. They're talking about a light in the darkest night, lunatic night. The confused ramblings of my mind. Oh, the Dutch angles on that. And the dance. That falsetto. That's so nice. Okay, but I want to see the full dance and the full chorus here. But I have a couple of things I want to say. Really lovely falsetto. Is that gin? I'm working on it. Really lovely falsetto. Really nice, light lifting, a very pure sound coming out of some of the raps there. I think Sugar that did the raps. I'm working on it. It's very high energy. And yet they themselves, even though their dancing is high energy, they themselves have the appearance of low energy. And it's constantly creating a sort of cognitive dissonance as a viewer that's reinforced by the color correcting that they've done, pulling out the blues and the grays and a little bit of the greens and the grass here that you can see. Those are all sort of colors that we associate with cold, with despair. So they're doing a really nice job doing that, and it really makes for sort of an odd viewing experience, but in an intentional way. I feel like it's on a Steadicam because of the level of control that they have. This is some really nice switching into the Dutch angles on when they were kind of stepping out and rocking back, step out, rock back. And it literally swung with them. You know, a lot of times it would just be flat, but it swung up, and it really reinforces. I've talked before about the relationship between dance and camera, performer and camera. It's they're all on the same page. So it feels much more like you're a part of what you're watching. See that push in right there? What did that say? That's RM. I recognize RM. Whenever I think of you, the sun is shining. Oh, those dance moves. The clock is coming back. So this idea of save me before I fall, there's a clock ticking. So there's this idea that we're running out of time. And notably, there's only a couple seconds left in this video. So literally running out of time. And you can almost feel this anticipation building even though the music dropped right there. Interesting. And then they fall. Yeah. And what a beautiful image of them kind of all on their knees. Boy meets... Okay. So I'm sure that ending has context for all of you. I'm sure I will discover that at some point. Maybe that means it's open to interpretation, so that, you know, as a viewer, what does this mean? I don't feel like I interpret it as a romantic need, a save me, an attraction in that regard. I think you definitely could. I wouldn't fault somebody for seeing that, but it felt more like, I guess on a more grand scale from that, asking somebody for help. Saying, you know, well, who is the light, I guess, would be the question. Because they talked a lot about light and darkness. And they've talked a lot about shadows in the past in their other songs. It's so interesting how visually kind of down that is. And the dancing is so high energy, but they're so inward and so almost in grief. Just, you know, what they're doing, which again is an acting thing. It's kind of hard to be that high energy. It's fun to dance. It's fun to dance high energy. So it's hard to be just, you know, deadpan, essentially, just dead in the face when you're doing it. And yet when they would take over on their solos, I think, again, I'm still learning the names, but I especially noticed it on RM and on, I think, Jungkook. They were doing a little bit more to try to evoke a certain emotion from you, but still, it didn't quite match with the music. And that's so interesting, because obviously it's not in English. If I was just listening to that, I'd be like, this is definitely a happy song. And I think if I was just reading the lyrics, I'd be like, well, this is like a ballad, right? This is so sad. So it's so interesting to put those together. And if I was going to guess, I'd say this has to be about like mental health and about the struggles that we have and how people will wear a mask with, you know, depression and with anxiety and stuff like that are actual clinical things. And if you are struggling with those things, please know that you are valid and you are loved. I have struggled with them enormously in my life. I try to talk about that. I don't really hide from it anymore. I don't anymore, thankfully. But for a lot of my life, that was a real thing. And this is kind of what it felt like, was you smile and you go through the motions. And for me, it was literally as a performer. I would literally go out and dance and be high energy and then, you know, go back to my room or whatever and be a completely different person. So that's what I take out of it. And maybe that's the point of this. It's whatever you take out of this. If you're someone looking for a spiritual answer, if you're, you know, struggling with whatever your religious identity is, or if you don't have one and you're wondering if you should or if you want to, maybe you take that out of it. And I think that's really cool art when it can have that many meanings. We've talked before in the comments. I've talked with several of you about the best art has endless interpretations. I'm intrigued to see if this really was all one take or if it was shot to be one take, because I noticed a couple of moments where I thought that they may be cut. Very, very well hidden. But, I mean, it would not downplay the impressiveness of the cinematography if they cut. I want to say that. I don't think that would make it, like, bad. I'm not sure, and that means they did a really good job, because I can't tell. So, so we'll see. I'm excited to see the behind the scenes on this. I want to give a quick shout out to Kate Torn. Thank you for linking this. I'm sure other people did as well, but that's the comment that I saw with this. This is the behind the scenes with English subtitles, so I can understand some of what they're saying. I understand some of the behind the scenes don't have that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but thank you for giving me that link. I think that'll be helpful in understanding what's going on. Oh, that looks miserable. I've been there. I've been in this situation. It's really miserable, especially when you have to get through it. Not easy to dance in a poncho either. Okay, so that's what they're using. So just doing on-location rehearsals, which is important. You need to dance on the ground too, where you're actually going to be. There's going to be moments that you're still not sure on, even on the day. I mean, you guys have said this is the first behind the scenes of theirs that I've watched. They seem like fun. I want to hang out with them. I'm sure we all want to hang out with them. Yeah, so they're all hiding behind. You've got a grip with what looks like a bounce card. That's used to kind of fill in the face a little bit, add a little bit more lighting, make it look more even. Okay, that was a rehearsal. I don't remember if they were in ponchos or not. I mean, it's nice to see how cohesive they are as a group, even in rehearsals. They're communicating with one another and trying to help each other. I like this song. That looks not fun. It's just a spear. It's kind of amazing how small their crew is on this. I would have expected more people to be there, but I guess you probably don't want to transport a lot of people out to this location. I'm trying to tell what kind of rig they're shooting on. It's just essentially a Ronin. Put on the camera up. He doesn't even have a spotter. He's just going for it. Huh. Sometimes when you know you're powering through weather like this, you just know, like, well, now it has to be good, right? We put too much into this. We're going through too much for this to not be good. I noticed that in the music video, the clouds that came in were really, really helpful in the visuals of what they were seeing. Nice. He's going even in there with him. That's probably, I would guess, why they don't have a spotter with him, to make sure he doesn't trip or anything, because he didn't have a lot of room to maneuver in there. The camera op didn't. Okay, so it's looking like they did do multiple takes and just did cuts, but maybe I'm wrong. I love that dance. I love that move. RM throwing the camera. You can see the camera op pull with it. And now they're all waiting so you can pan over. Nice. You can tell a camera op, because look at the camera op's calves. They're huge. He's used to this kind of backpedaling. Nice. I wonder what that black cage back here is behind them. Nice. They're thrilled that they're done. I've been there. Yeah, you gotta be tired. Looks windy. It does not look warm. Oh, it's in Korea. Okay. The weather wasn't very good. I think the weather that they had did look really good on camera. Look at their like friendship and relationships. It's so nice to see. Not every group has that. Not every cast that I work with has that, but they're done. The relief. They're friends. Yeah, you want it to look good when you go through that much. That's good. You want to thank the crew that did it and the people that came up with the concept. He looks tired. Is that Jungkook? He looks tired. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that all was actually shot in one take because they said they had to do it again. That would be exhausting, dancing like that in one take. Any kind of filming in one take is tough because if literally one thing goes wrong, if a light is seen, if there's an audio issue, something like that, you have to restart the whole thing. But it can end up looking really cool and have some really cool effects. So I'm glad I watched the behind the scenes because it's kind of funny to see them, you know, they're so down, they're so sad in the music video, and then cut. Whew, we did it. That's what it's like sometimes on set. Someone will mess up a line, and it's this really heavy scene, and everybody just bursts out laughing, and it feels weird. The thing that I am so impressed by, and you said this in the comments to Dynamite on my first video a couple weeks ago, I am so impressed by the diversity of their genres and of their music. Every song sounds different. Every song feels like it's completely intentional. It's not, how do I say that? It doesn't feel like there's any filler songs. You know, there's no fluff. There's no, oh, we just needed to get an extra song out. Now, granted, I haven't listened to a ton of them, but everything really feels different and intentional with what they're doing. And it feels like something that they all really, really enjoyed and were on board with. And that's not really easy because a lot of times you're trying to play to different voices. And they have different approaches to what they're doing, and I'm able to start picking up on that now that I've heard them a couple of times. But because they all have their own distinctive style, but when they come together it sounds very cohesive, it's creating this unique experience, and it lets them visually do so much because they aren't tied to one thing. And I think, you know, Big Hit Entertainment is kind of, you know, they aren't playing it safe with what concepts are going to work and with what they could or should do traditionally within the music industry or within music videos or within film. They're pushing some boundaries there in some really, really cool and unique ways. I love the one take concept. I think given the location and this idea of, you know, of mental health, especially, the longer the take goes, it sort of feeds into this idea of feeling sort of like this is never going to end. Not that I wanted it to end, but, you know, you expect the take to cut. And the longer it goes, the longer it feels like you are sort of in something, especially with the colors and the kind of oppressive sky with it blues and grays. It really functioned to put you in this place of almost confusion as you're listening to it, in a good way, an intentional confusion. And I kind of like the ambiguity, too, of what it actually meant. I'm going to take it to mean mental health is how I'm interpreting it. I'm sure a bunch of you in the comments are going to say, I interpreted it this, I interpreted it this. And I'm willing to bet that that was their goal, was to have a bunch of meanings. It means something different to the person that consumes it, which is a huge, huge victory when you're making any kind of art. It's not easy to do, and that means it's going to mean something to everybody. Thank you for recommending this. I really, really did enjoy it. I love the different interpretations that I think one can take out of it. I'm excited to hear what you all got out of it, and I'm excited to be back hopefully at the end of this week with the next video. Thank you all for your recommendations. Thank you all so much for the support. I did not expect this. I did not expect this many people to care about my interpretations of things, and it really does mean a lot. It's been wild. It's been so cool. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm very grateful to all of you for keeping me informed, keeping me energized with new recommendations and with new information, and it really is very, very cool. It's been very fun, and it's been a cool way to kind of stretch myself artistically as we're continuing to deal with COVID kind of shutting down the industry that I work in. So this has been a cool way to keep going. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to the next one.